and welcome to this very interesting week of the desk. Thank you very much for watching U24. Now we trust that every time you watch U24 you're inspired, you're motivated, and of course you're educated. Now thank you very much for watching the desk. This is a show that we are certainly and absolutely sure that is going to change the entire overview of the political, the social and the physical atmosphere of the country and the East African region as a whole. Now more than ever, I'm Shadrack Kisame. Now, I want you to understand that this is a discussion that is always worth hearing. Now, tonight, are you an entrepreneur? Or are you so very much passionate about investment? Are you zealous about business? Now, sit back, relax. One show, one screen, one presenter, one guest. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are assessing how conducive is the business/investment atmosphere of Uganda. Is it conducive for the young entrepreneurs? Is it conducive for the youth? Now, ladies and gentlemen, most suitable to aid this discussion is a gentleman. He's smart. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mupisa Anderson. He's a co-founder and executive director for the Federation of the Young Entrepreneurs. Welcome to the show, Anderson.
Thank you.
Yes. It's good to see you. You look sharp. I love the suit.
Thank you.
I love the suit. You know, you walked in and I'm like, I told my producer, this man is sharp. Good to see you. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, before we even go into the specifics, what do you guys do, or what do you personally do as a person? Because as far as I'm knowledgeable, you also do international business consultancy.
Yes. I am the executive director and co-founder for the Federation of Young Entrepreneurs Uganda. It's an organization we started up as young people to help the young entrepreneurs in Uganda. You understand? You know that actually Uganda is one of, if not the most enterprising country in the world.
Yes,
it has actually been ranked #1 many years concurrently. Yes. But the biggest challenge is most of these young businesses never get to see their first birthday.
Exactly, and later in the show you're going to explicitly make me and the viewers there understand why we never break through. Yes.
It's not everybody, but some, there are those who break through. But the majority, 85%, they never get to see their first birthday. And
their first birthday.
Yeah. Why I say their first birthday is because when they fail at this, they'll try and do something else, which has made us one of the most enterprising countries, which means we never run out of ideas.
Okay.
And I think I know it's a blessing from God.
Okay.
Being young people, and I got the opportunity to try and start my own businesses. I tried to start 2 businesses that failed right straight from after my senior 6 vacation. So a man of experience is never the master of an argument. So I decided, me and one of my business mentors, who I was working with at the Chamber of Commerce at the time.
Okay.
I was intern at the Chamber of Commerce. So when I learned a lot of knowledge, because I have a heart of helping, I never want to see anyone else within my reach or proximity going through the same struggles I went through.
Okay.
I believe in the spirit of oneness.
Okay.
So as a young person, and my passion for fellow young people,
Yes.
We decided to start up an organization that was owned by the youth. Because when you look at the Federation of Young Entrepreneurs, which is short, called FYE, the youth standing for Uganda.
Okay.
Because there may be other federations of young entrepreneurs elsewhere. So we decided that let this organization be owned by the youth. How? By making it a member-based organization. So you're a youth, you want to go into business, you want to venture into business, you are doing business. You come and subscribe to become a member. Okay. That automatically makes us stakeholder.
Okay.
Why we did that is because it's even scriptured. I follow the Bible because I submit to the highest authority in the land, and I've learned a lot.
Okay.
And I've learned that there's a thin line between the spiritual and the physical.
Okay.
Which is biblically written.
Our guest is now preaching. Pay attention. You know me, I love preachers. Pay attention.
And you see, business started long way before. Actually, when you look, when man was sent out of the Garden of Eden, that's when business started. Okay. So God instructed man to work. So you can't sit and when you're sitting and doing nothing, you're not doing business.
Okay.
Exactly. So which means work is from God. Business is from God.
Okay.
So to understand true business, you have to go back to the beginning. It's one of the reasons most young people were failing. Now when I captured the revelation behind it, it even has been a bigger success.
Okay, Anderson, Now I want you guys to understand. Anderson is bringing on something very peculiar. He's trying to make us understand that business actually starts from the spiritual. You know, this is the first time now we're having something like this on the desk. He says why he's a successful businessman and why he's a consultant for business internationally is because he gets his tactics or his methodologies from the spirit to the physical. Wow. How do you even do this?
Well, you may have a mentor, but whatever that mentor is going to give is information that was passed down from some other person. Now, when you trace back the origin of that, you discover that actually the very founder of that got this from God. How? In form of a vision or a dream.
Okay, a vision you mean?
A vision is dreaming while you are awake. Like you okay, let me try to break it down further.
Okay, because you know, a lot of people on the desk are not spiritual. So when you start coming with things like the vision and what people are going to be like, what is
let me tell you
going on?
something. In life,
Yes.
you can never make it if you're not spiritual. You notice, what is sad is that you only get to see the other bad side of spirituality. You've seen people sacrificing animals, goats, so that they can be successful.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
That's the dark spiritual side.
Yes, yes.
Most of the businessmen you know have a dark spiritual side.
Okay.
Now the Christian businessmen, most of them have not come out to give to whom they submit to. I'll give an example of some of their preacher businessmen.
Yes.
I'll give an example of Kenneth Copeland.
Yes, yes, yes.
He's a preacher of the word of God. Business. Look at Creflo Dollar. These are men of God,
yes.
but they have a business side. But that business action comes as a result of appreciating the gift from God. And once you honor that gift, which means they submit, you have to submit to something. The reason that's why these people sacrifice what they sacrifice is because they know there's a certain authority, and for you to submit to that authority, you have to bring a sacrifice.
So this is an act of submission.
It's an act of submission. Now, me, I'm not the kind who, I don't believe in the dark act. I believe in the light.
Okay.
And when I looked around, I came to discover that the highest authority in this dispensation is Prophet Elvis Mbonyi. Why? If a man has given international prophecies, okay, if he gave a local prophecy, you would say maybe someone can try to argue that out. Maybe somehow he got to know, he predicted. But if someone, a country he has no ties to, like the likes of America, and he predicts and he says that the next president is going to be Donald Trump, whereby you know he has no technical expertise to interfere with an election, that is definitely spiritual. And
Okay.
not only one or two or many.
Okay, Anderson, we are digressing, but the message from all of this, you out there, submission, and he has given you a shortcut. Submit to Prophet Elvis Mbonyi, who is the highest authority in the land right now. If you want to be a successful businessman like he is, I have seen his car. He drives a Mercedes Benz. It's not the usual Mercedes. Me and my producer saw the Mercedes Benz and we were like, wow. So if you want to drive such a kind of car, Prophet Elvis Mbonyi. So Anderson, let's go back. Do you think the atmosphere is conducive enough for any youth out there to start up a business or invest in something? Do you think, if let's say I'm selling shoes, if I started selling shoes, what are the chances that I will prevail?
I don't think, I know.
Okay, yes.
This time we're in is the most conducive time to do business in Uganda, in Africa. But I'll stick to Uganda, okay, for now. So many reasons. This is the best time to be alive. We have the youngest population.
Okay, okay.
Now, young people are the biggest consumers of anything. In most of business is basically demand supply, which means consumer and manufacturer will make, whether it be a service or a good. And once you understand what the demand wants, that's it. If you want to sell shoes, you will not come and sell gumboots to maybe youth in Kampala. You have to understand your market.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
You can only sell gumboots and succeed in Kampala if the spiritual atmosphere has made it conducive and you've submitted spiritually to the right authority.
There we go again.
Reason being is that you have to know who is the highest authority in that area. For example, if you're going into real estate,
Yes, real estate.
you look out who is the biggest real estate owner.
Yes, that's
You
true.
have to submit to that authority.
Like you mean I go to him, let's say maybe I would use a name, random name. Let's say Itature. I just go to Itature and tell him, sir, mentally, what exactly?
Well, submission. There are very many. There are different levels of submission. One level is through financial submission, like supporting people's causes, like making sure your money goes there. Once your money goes there, spiritually you've tapped into, yes, you've submitted. Okay? Like so, spiritually your money has been tied to that entity. Okay. So you're getting money is dependent on that entity which you've given money to, and the way you get money will definitely be through those channels. Okay. That also give money to that entity or through that entity.
Okay. Now, Anderson, we are going to be going for a short break, but when we come back, we are still understanding. Is the country's atmosphere conducive for business or investment for young entrepreneurs? Now, Mr. Mugisa Anderson, who is the Executive Director for the Federation of the Young Youth in Uganda, for the young entrepreneurs in Uganda, is making us to understand how conducive this is. But I tell you, he's a spiritual man, he is a preacher, and we are shooting two birds with one stone. We are getting the spiritual food and we are getting the business part. Do not go away. It is still the desk, a discussion that is always worth hearing. And welcome back to this very eye-opening edition of the desk. We are learning things. We have even gone further to spiritual land. Now, before we dive in back, I want to say thank you to all of you who are following the discussion on our social media platforms. And for you, if you want to catch the discussion on our social media, you can go to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, that is at U24 Television, or you can follow the Desk 256 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All my personal media handles, that is Shadrack Kisame for Facebook, just go and like the page, and Shadrack Kisame Twitter, Shadrack Kisame on Instagram. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, tonight is a spiritual sensation for business and entrepreneurs. The man in the chair, our guest, is a spiritual teacher, but well accomplished in business and entrepreneurship. Now, Anderson, you are still making us understand why business right now, more than ever, is the best time to invest or to carry out a business venture.
Why? I was still explaining, and I was telling you that one, there's very many entities to submit to, but we now have the highest authority in the land. Okay. For example, if you have the most successful businessman living in a country,
yes,
they'll want to support.
What are you talking? You're talking Sudir, you're talking Itature, you're talking who?
Me, I only know one.
Okay.
I only know one man, Prophet Mary Muziboni. Because I've come to discover that actually those are some, you see, they are principalities, and then they are rulers of certain entities. You need to first understand the spiritual, because otherwise you're walking blind into a battle. Okay. You do not know what people do at night. Okay. When you are sleeping, people are not sleeping. Okay. If you ever go to these offices, you ask these men, why is it that for them during day in the mornings, around this time, you don't find them in their offices? Or they're probably seated somewhere taking cups of cappuccino.
Why is it so?
Because there's something they do at a time when everyone else is asleep. Why is that so? When everyone else is asleep, the spiritual atmosphere is very conducive to performing any kind of spiritual entity, and it's open. They're like portals that are open. Okay. So that's why most of the business ideas, they are backed at night. You notice? Even scientifically, it has been proven that the highest brain activity is usually at night.
At night.
Why? Because they are not distractions. Because right now, people are walking their cars, people are moving, so your mind is distracted from focusing. Okay. So if you really want to concentrate, most people like to go. Why do you think office atmospheres are very quiet? Why do you think libraries are quiet? For you to concentrate to pick the material from the book, the atmosphere has to be conducive. Okay. Why do I say that Uganda is the most conducive atmosphere currently? Reason being is that despite the many distractions, you can do business 24/7. Okay. Which means you don't have to be confined to a particular time to do business. You just need to understand what you're going into. When can you target your? Do you imagine that actually most of them right now at work? When they leave work, they're very exhausted. They either go to the bar to pray for fellowship and then go to sleep. But then what happens at night? Why do you think when Nakumat came and opened, it was able to make much more money than most of the supermarkets?
Why was it able to do that?
Because it did something that was unconventional, that wasn't happening. Actually,
what was that?
If you look at that was opening past midnight. If you notice, most people actually, the highest sales were usually past midnight, which comes to show you that actually, and this was on a daily basis, the highest sales were always past midnight. How many times do you wake up in your house and you don't have something and you want to get it, but shops are closed, you have to wait for more? But if there's a place that works 24/7, you go. Yes. The same forex bureau.
That's true. But Anderson, Nakumat closed. Why did they go down the drain?
They went down the drain because of mismanagement. You see, they submitted to the wrong authority.
There he goes again.
Now, when you look at Nakumati's story, it emanates from, why I'm saying it emanates from way back home, from Kenya.
From Kenya, yes.
Yes. They were overwhelmingly ambitious. We've seen this, there's always incidents for these things in the Bible.
Okay.
If you trace back overwhelming ambitions, what they have done to great men, you realize it's always leads to downfall. You cannot, if you make it big in life, never forget the source.
You mean your source of knowledge?
Yes.
I could accredit that to Makerere Business School.
Well, if you are going to Makerere Business School, you have to, that's why I started the issue of submission.
Okay.
If there is a highest authority in a specific field,
Yes.
and you want to make it big, and this authority notices that you're trying to grow wings, they'll look for cutting down those wings. Or somehow, they'll do something that will remind you that, hey, I am still boss.
Okay.
That's one of the biggest challenges young businesses face. They want to go in industries, and they want to offend, which is sometimes good for business, but then again, they go beyond offense and they start to disrespect now. When it moves to disrespect, you're going to be put back in line. There are principles under which these different sectors work. You can't be a practicing lawyer and you go and you want to report to court in a t-shirt and jeans to defend a client.
Okay.
The rules have been set, the principles have been set. You have to be in a suit, they have to be dull colors, either white or black, simple dull colors, and you have to be tied with a tie. If you go like that, because even if you're the best person, you'll be punished or disbarred. The same applies in business. You can't come to a business field, say a money field, and just because you made a lot of money, you want to bend the rules and create your own rules. Yes, that's true. You always have to first go and consult with the highest authority. Minus doing that, you're bound to collapse. Same applies to money.
Okay, but Anderson, what if I cannot? I just want, I want to get into maybe hotels, like, we are seeing Mr. Sudhir Rupali, are doing very well. He now has the sleep apartments, he's doing quite well, and I do not have access to him. What do I do?
All you have to do is to go. You see, there are very many ways of submission, like I said. I've only mentioned one of having your money in terms. You don't have to directly give the money to that person.
Okay.
Go to his establishments, spend more time there.
Okay,
and observe.
I go to Speak Apartments, have a meal there, and observe what is going on.
I see, submission is like an obsession. It's like being cultic about something. You have to be radical about it.
Okay.
If you really want something, which you have to have the enthusiasm to go after it.
Okay, that's true. Enthusiasm. Yes,
For example, you've seen, it's very evident. You've seen how revenants, we people profitable, how radical we are. Everything about our life is about profitable. The same applies to NRM. When you spoke NRM, yellow everywhere, everything of theirs is yellow. And why is it that these people, they are able to get away with anything and survive anything? It's very simple.
Yes.
It's because they are radical about the authority they submit to. So the same time, if you really want to mentor you, I've seen this very many businessmen over here. Young people have gone after them, claimed affiliation, they have stalked these people to where they are giving speeches and what they have taken pictures.
Can't you get frustrated?
If you want something, don't you get frustrated doing the same routine? Wake up in the morning, brush your teeth, eat, work, sleep. Do you get frustrated? Sometimes people have gotten frustrated with the likes of Hong Kong. Why are they striking right now? Frustration of the same routine. Wake up, eat, work, sleep. Wake up.
They feel like I'm so frustrated. I'm doing this all the time.
Yes, the highest number of suicides is in
Hong Kong.
Why do you think they're rioting right now? Look at the generation that is rioting, young people like us.
Yes.
Because of a routine.
Yes.
So if you feel like you're getting, what frustrates people is a routine. So you're being radical, submitting to the authority. It does not have to be a routine. You have to invent your own ways that will make it interesting. That's why I tell people, if you want to do business, don't go in it to make the money. Go in it for the passion. You have to address a challenge.
For the passion.
Passion, and you have to be addressing a challenge. Personally, why I went to privately, I am international consultant on setting up structures to invest in Africa. My focus is particularly in Africa.
Why Africa?
Like I said in the beginning, that I'm passionate about home.
Okay.
And I never forget where I come from.
Okay.
And where is the highest authority coming from? Uganda, Africa. And I'm telling you, in 5 years, the next 5 years, Uganda is going to be a first-class nation.
Hold up. Let's slow it down there. Mr. Anderson is telling us in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, Uganda is going to be a first world nation. First world nation, you're talking what? You're talking the UK, you're talking US, you're talking Russia. What are you talking?
Forget about UK. We are going to be bigger and better than that.
Okay, is this Anderson, we are on national television,
yes.
And I want you to put in consideration we are not just getting things that we had someone say and we pocketed. Why do you say 5 years Uganda is going to be first world nation?
To start with, the way I do business these days is I do it based on prophecy.
Based on
prophecies.
Prophecies.
Yes. When Prophet Elvis Bonyi gives a prophecy about a nation, there's always a financial angle to it. And that's what I always investigate, study, learn, and take advantage of.
Okay.
So that has given me always the edge over any other person in my field. Case in point, when Prophet Elvis Bonyi prophesied that Donald Trump would win in the US, let me take you to the business angle. Of course, Donald Trump is a businessman.
Yes, Trump is a businessman.
That means if the businessman is coming into power to be the highest authority, business is going to boom in that country by default, because it's going to be the highest authority in the land. Then globally, where has America influenced its businesses? That means America is going to be on top. You get?
Has it been on top though?
Definitely. Forget about what the fake media is talking about. The past about 49 years, there's been an increment of jobs. The economy has done better than it has ever done. What may seem like, for you see people, it's like, for example, Shadrack. Even if the bigger it's written, all have seen one as a market.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
But even we've seen this in the biblical times where even King David, we know what King David did when he was on the road.
Yes, that's true.
But the same man goes before God and says, "Oh God,
my hands are clean.
My hands are clean.
Yes, that's true.
I am a righteous man." Because of that one deed he did right before God. The same applies. No matter how bad or whatever the other person has done in the past, the moment they come into power and they make sure that people are happy. Do you know how many jobs Donald Trump has created? Do you know the implication of those jobs? Let me show you the implication of the trickle-down effect. If 1 billion people are unemployed, not only are 1 million people unemployed, that means their dependents are also suffocating. They are suffering, they are struggling. When you have a job back at home, say for example, I'm married. When I am working, or I have a business and I'm making money. One, I am employing people. Now those people have families that depend on them. By default in Africa, unlike other countries I've visited, once you're employed in Africa, definitely responsible to come back to, you have to look after your relatives.
Yes, that's true.
Starting with your own family.
That's true.
Then somehow you'll have to help a friend or two, a couple of them.
Yes, because there are a lot of people who are actually needy.
It's not that they are needy, it's because of the cultural paradigm. It takes a whole village to raise an African child.
Yes,
when you're going to school,
That's true.
an auntie going to give you some pocket money, get 1,000 here, someone would buy a pen. It is the spirit of oneness that they are trying to encourage. Okay. Even biblically, when you look at these things, I like to give my references in the Bible. The reason being is it's the most outstanding reference. And these things are happening again in real time, in real life. Everything that happened in the Bible, it's even scripture that it will happen again. It's not under the sun. So the same thing applies. Why Africa in particular is because the biggest principle. We've seen these things before even the spread of this modern Western culture. The spirit of oneness, we saw kingdom that was so big, so vast. I'll give a case in point. One of the wealthiest nations currently, based on studies out there, is DRC. But why is it that the media outside there is portraying it as the one that has Ebola, the one that has wars? And when you actually go to Kinshasa, you'll be shocked. Why is it that they are businessmen? Because they are making a lot of money. One of the biggest mining cities in the world, but is in northeastern Congo, bordered with our own country, Arua, the Arua border. When you go to Arua, DRC, you approach Kibali, but when you go to Kibali city, it's a whole city. It has actually medical facilities, housing facilities, it has an airport. So which means all the gold they mine, they load it to plate and make it outside. What is the government of DRC getting? I see what I'm trying to do here. The highest number of youth is actually in Africa. Now, this youth, to me, I look at them as an energy, as a potential.
Yes.
Why do I say that my business consultancy focuses on Africa? I have represented an Africa, I worked in government before, and I've been bringing their businessmen, rich billionaires, to come and invest in Africa. I'm very proud of a couple of franchises that I've done in a part of
franchise
in Africa. Yes.
How did you even do this?
God. The God of competence.
Okay.
See, you have wisdom and knowledge come from God. Anyone, you can't tell me that you got your wisdom from, I don't know, brick or something to worship. It comes from God.
Yes, that's true.
So, because I realize that my wisdom and knowledge comes from God, I know there's nothing I can do without God. And He has given me the best mentor. Why do I call Prophet Elvis the best mentor? I have learned all the arts of doing business. But the greatest art is knowing the future, which is prophecy. Now,
are you talking about speculation?
Speculation is different from prophecy. See, when you speculate, you're not sure.
Yes, you're not sure.
When you prophesy, you're sure. Even in the Bible, 2 Chronicles 20:20.
Yes.
Believe in the Lord your God, you shall be established. Now, if you want to prosper like I am doing, prosperity lies in prophets and prophets of God, not of Baal. Me, I have found no evidence whatsoever. All evidence points to that the prophet is a prophet of God. Yes. Now, and me being a man of God, I found peace there, and that's where I am, and that's why I'm doing these things. Back to why Africa. Everyone forsakes Africa. We've seen governments, politicians, when they steal money, they go and buy buildings.
They're investing in countries that are seemingly flourishing.
But what you're doing is actually you're channeling that which is meant to help your own people outside. Do you know what is going to happen? Your same people are going to come to cry. But because your money is out there, you won't do much about it. You'll see it. You feel bad about it sometimes. I don't know about these people. But I've seen most people, the end result is most people run outside. That's why we've seen, because of the effect of taking out, they have, even the people have decided, let us go and work out. It is actual truth. If we got these investors, because this is the most fertile place, we have the best food in the world, we have the most brilliant brains. Look at most of these innovations. The biggest fintech right now, yes, which is mobile money. Yes. Still in Africa. I mean, look, when you
with M-Pesa.
M-Pesa.
Yes, that's true.
Now, there's a whole history to M-Pesa. If I told you the history, it originated from Uganda, you know, but I don't want to go into that right now because there's something going on and I don't want to interfere. I don't like it because it is passionate. Okay. But let's look at M-Pesa mobile money systems. Right now, banks have failed to reach the cheapest possible level.
Yes, that's true.
But do you know who innovated M-Pesa? And you tell me this environment is not conducive for big business. A young man, and when I say young, globally they say below the age of 30, 35. Now for us at the Federation of Young Entrepreneurs, if you're 40 years and below, because Africa is the most energetic population in the world. And when you see a guy of 40, you not believe that guy is 40.
Energetic as in a sense of they have their brains process very fast or physical.
It's both physical, spiritual. You know, when most people start really coming to spiritually, church and prayer and whatnot is when they are above the age of 20, between 20 and the age of 55. Now, why I say the 40 below, most young people they go into the dreams.
Shadrack Kisame.
Go to school, go to school, get a good degree, get a job. I think it's on that. Go to school, get a good education, come and innovate and create a solution. That is what I mean.
Now, when we come back for the last break, Anderson is also going to be helping us do that, and he will also come back if he was president of East Africa, 5 countries combined, what he would do first in 24 hours. That is really hypothetical.
Professor.
That is hypothetical, but it happens on the desk here. Now, do not go away. We are still understanding and we are assessing how conducive the investment atmosphere of the country and the region is for young entrepreneurs. But I tell you, he's a spiritual man, and from here I think I'm going to be opening my Bible to find out whatever he's been telling me, how true and how sustainable that is. Do not go away. And welcome back to this very insightful and eye-opening edition of the desk, where we are understanding how conducive the investment and business atmosphere of the country is for young entrepreneurs. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are still broadcasting here at our home at Nile Avenue, Kampala. We're actually in the heart of Kampala, in Nakasero Hill. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Anderson Mugisa, the Executive Director for the Federation of Young Entrepreneurs, is aiding the discussion and trying to help us understand that things are not as physical as you see them. they actually come and actually source and they actually backed from the spirit. According to how you understand the spirit, he's been helping us understand. But Anderson, now we are trying to understand, should government focus on people like you who can bring in investors, international investors, or should the government help in sourcing for credit to give to young entrepreneurs so that they can invest here? What do you think is the next big thing for this country?
I am the next big thing for this country. What the government should do is come to people like me.
Government should come to people like you, or you should go to government.
You see, I'm already doing my part. Tell my clients, you want to invest in Africa. What do you want to do? They tell me I want to do ABCD, ABCD. I'm like, oh, okay. If you want to do ABCD, ABCD, then I look through the African countries. Of course, I always start with Uganda. And I say, these are the countries I recommend based on their cultural background, the countries they have traveled to, and their deep passion. It always comes down to passion and interest.
The passion of the investor.
Of the investor, yes. Because if you invest in something that you're not passionate about, any slight frustration will make you pull out. You get, but if you're passionate about something, you're not doing it for the money, you're doing it for passion. For example, you're on TV.
Yes.
Don't you enjoy what you do?
I enjoy what I do.
Even if the salary delays, you still enjoy what you do.
Yes, that's true.
Because of the opportunities that come outside there for you, besides as a result of being on TV.
Yes.
If you stop being on TV, these opportunities will stop coming, right? So the same applies to passion. Now, passion, once you stop focusing on money, the moment you start working for money, you've submitted yourself to money.
Okay.
Passion activates the spiritual. You've seen these things. Ideas start from what you call the mind.
Yes.
Dreams. That's the spiritual. A vision. Dreaming while we're away. You can be seated here and then all of a sudden you're like, man, I wish I could buy that building and I could do ABCD. What they call daydream. I mean, the daydreamers make the biggest out there. I'll start with Facebook.
Yes, Facebook.
Dreamt of creating, when you look at their story, he dreamt of creating a society united together behind the computer. Isn't he now living the daydream? So what government should do is to come to people like us who already know and are doing something about what is happening. Rather than getting some, I'm going to use something radical, but it is the truth. You get an old man who does not even rub shoulders with young men like me, and he's saying, I think the youth should do this. You have to first understand the mindset of the young person.
Yes.
If you don't understand, they say young people rush to decisions. Do you know why we rush to decisions? It's because the new people we're looking up to are just creating a spokesman for us. You come out here, you tell us, work hard, study hard, you're busy taking shortcuts. We know these things.
Okay.
I don't want to get into some of those details right now. Maybe at another opportune time I'll come and get into those details.
Okay.
Someone comes and gives you a whole speech of something that doesn't happen. That's why I started by saying a man of experience is never the mass of an enemy. If I speak from experience, it's not been all silver and roses for me. I have had moments where I have learned that, hence starting cost family in the Federation of Entrepreneurs.
That's true.
Most people may wonder, why does this thing have presence in Kampala? It's because I don't believe the solution starts with Kampala.
Okay.
The solution starts with the outskirts. We are doing work in Zongo, Arua. Deep. Why did we start in the Westland? It's next to DRC. So once you start from there, we spill over to the neighbors. By the time those success stories come to Kampala, Kampala will wake up and be like, hey, actually, the opportunities don't only lie in Kampala.
Okay, so you're trying to tell the young entrepreneurs out there, it's not just about Kampala.
No, it's not. You have to think outside the box. Everyone is thinking Kampala.
Yes.
Kampala is too crowded. Competition is so high.
Yes, that's true.
If you're brilliant enough and patient, in business, you have to be patient.
Okay.
If you don't have patience, you're bound to fail.
So I can't invest if I'm not patient.
You can't.
Wow. Mmere ya leero, what if I want mmere ya leero, ntekemu ezange nzijjemu.
There has to be a sacrifice.
Okay.
If rich men can sacrifice cows, chicken, even weird things, blood sacrifice, they're spending sleepless nights. I've been telling people don't sleep at night. They sacrifice the time they're supposed to sleep. During the day, the ordinary person is looking for them.
Yes.
And they have to make themselves available because that is their next customer. They're sacrificing something.
Sacrificing time.
It could be time, but now me, I've learned to operate from a place of rest. I know what I sacrifice so that I can operate from a place of rest. What do I mean? I make sure the most productive part of my day, I am praying and ask the Lord to show me what to do.
So God shows you what to do, you do it, that's why you reach.
I never make any decision. Sometimes I can stay in my house and not leave until I receive an answer from God to make a decision about something. I've had business deals come on my desk and I've refused to make a decision until I get an answer from God.
Okay.
If I don't get an answer, I don't do it.
Alright, understood. So, in a nutshell,
Government should come to me, I'm the next big thing.
government should come to you, you're the next big thing.
Yes, and submit to profit.
And submit to profit. So by government, you mean everyone in government.
Everyone. You see, if the leader of the government, you see, the government is so big, and the country is so big.
Yes.
So he's very stretched. He's focusing on security, he's focusing on the young people, they're telling him this. We have people in parliament who are babies running to the president. It's like a father in a home.
Yes.
The maid is reporting to you, the firstborn is telling you this, even your firstborn who
you expect to know better.
You expect to know better is also coming crying to you. Daddy, my marriage is not working. Should your father be interfering with your marriage? Did he teach you well?
So are you in any way saying that some of these people are big enough in government to take decisions, but they are running to the big man and they can't do nothing?
So yes, they have made the big man fall from his throne. What does that? The throne has been left vacant. That is simple truth. So which means the throne is vacant, the highest authority is waiting for someone to submit so that they can save them. Yes, the country suffers.
Okay, so government should come to Mr. Mukisa Anderson. He's the next big thing in terms of investment, in terms of entrepreneurs, in terms of business ideology and methodology, which he gets from the spirit. He didn't get it from MOOCs or the University of California or Florida. He gets it from the spirit.
I can give you a case in point.
Yes.
Government under the Ministry of Finance set up a department called the PPP department and BOT department. PPP, private public partnerships, and BOT is build, operate, transfer. Whereby an investor can come in, you don't have to give them sovereign guarantee, which has been the biggest challenge, because most of the investors ask for sovereign guarantee. It's and whatnot. But if they can do a public-private partnership, then they can actually work out a way. Why? Because an investor always wants to get back his money.
Yes,
he's developing the country, but he wants his money back with a small interest. So if the government, a whole department in Singapore, it's a whole department, a building that is run by over 1,000 employees. You can go and Google this in Singapore, which means that department has created employment. And why has it created employment over 1,000 employees? These 1,000 employees are going to bring in more money. Now, more money means bringing in more investors. More investors means more employment. More employment means more youth are given more space. First of all, get the beginning capital, and space to
But Anderson, sorry to cut you short. In Singapore, we have these youths are credit worthy. In other words, they have access to credit. But we are talking of a situation. You see, for over the 40 million Ugandans, 75% are the youth, and a portion of these youth are in rural areas.
Where did you get the fact that they are credit worthy? They're not all of them are credit worthy.
So we have people in Uganda who are not credit worthy.
By the way,
how can you for someone, maybe they are in a rural, they are in Gulu there, and there are a lot of youth stuck there, and let's say they're in subsistence agriculture. What should they do if they want to be investors? Some of these young boys and girls are actually zealous, but what should they do first?
My question to you should be, how did Singapore start? Back in 1991, Singapore was worse than Uganda. We had a better economy than Singapore. Wow. Many years later, Singapore is a first class nation. That's what I'm telling you. After 5 years, I'm telling you. I could never believe in this. If Singapore did it, we can do better. Actually, we are going to do better. And there's a reason why I choose Singapore. These people, for them to be credit worthy, their predecessors had to create that atmosphere. So which means us who are currently going to run this nation, it's up to us to create this. And we're doing it. Like I've said, if I bring an investor, case in point, I've brought a couple of investors here.
Yes.
They have set up entities. 100% of the people employed in those entities are youth.
Okay.
Does government know about me? I don't know. Do I care? Yes, I do care. Do I want to help? Yes, I want to help. But is government giving me the atmosphere to do so? Not sufficient. Case in point, Uganda Investment Authority is headed by a scholar. Their knowledge is based on the Western culture of doing business. Now, each country has its own culture of doing business.
Okay.
For example, here in Uganda, it's hand to mouth. Now, for you to move into a first-class nation where someone is credit worthy, you first have to address the issue of hand to mouth.
Yes, it's a nightmare.
Now, someone else is saying, no, we've got investors, they've created factories. Who are they employing? They're employing very old people. Instead of starting with the young people, say, if a factory has been being safe, for example, I'm giving a case in point.
Yes.
Say in Uwero, is there a university in Uwero? Who are the graduates? The first priority should be the interns. And they're given a job, or they outweigh the graduates. You give it to them for jobs.
Okay. Understood. Our time is really fast spent. Yes.
The Chamber of Commerce at the time had a membership of over 100,000 business entities in Uganda. I'm talking about not only Kampala, but over Uganda. Now, if there are 100,000 business entities, including the Uganda Manufacturing Association, if each of them provided at least some internship
and in this budget, they've given them more money.
Exactly. Now, if each of them created at least 2 internship positions, I'm talking about paid internship. Interns, how much money do they pay interns?
Do they pay interns?
Some pay, some are paid, some are not. Now, 2 internship positions. Now, multiply by just, I'm looking at only Chamber of Commerce. That's over 100,000.
100,000.
That's 200,000
youths that are paid through the avenue of internship.
Now, and of which we know, some organization can take on more than 2 interns. They can even take up to 10, 15.
So we are talking 300,000 interns.
Now, that takes me back to why we look at portability. Most people, when they go to work, by the time they realize because there is retirement, they go to clock retirement, then they start panicking. Oh, when I retire, I don't want to hustle with NSSF to get my wife and savings. I have to start a business. Now, most people who are working, they start a business, but why they fail is the job is so demanding because you're paid just enough to keep you at work, pay rent, and go about a small lifestyle. So, which means we have to create space for you as young people and help you.
Anderson, we are going to do this again. I'm so sure we're going to do this again because we cannot exhaust in these a few minutes that we have for the desk. But as we wrap it up, you're the president of 5 countries combined in 24 hours. What would you do first? What would you do first that would really make an impact for these 5 countries?
I would sack all the older systems, retrench. I've been to Kenya, I've seen the likes of Kenya Pipeline, Kenya Railway. I've been a part of this. I've been to their ministries. I've been to all these entities.
And they all have older systems.
I'm telling you, the first guy is old. I can understand for the bit of experience.
Yes.
But my biggest question has always been, and I've said this to very many people, there's a man I told that the biggest problem with creating is an regeneration of young people. You've decided to make it in life and create systems, but you've not met anyone to come after and look after the systems and innovate the systems. What is going to happen? People come in, you're dead. They're going to crush those systems. And that is going to create a huge virtual program.
Okay, so Anderson, you'll sack these guys?
All the assistants who are old, anyone from assistant below, if you're old, I sack you, I get young people bringing, and then the old people have to enter the younger.
The younger sisters. Yes. Okay, now what would this help you as president?
As president, I'm creating a generation of young, innovative people. If you're old, your brain eventually gets tired.
Okay.
You already have problems. You already are exhausted. You've seen it over. To it is a routine. A young person is excited first to have that position. He's starting to dream about the plans he would like to ask me. If I was president, I know for a certain I will be. You could be prophesying. So anyway, you see, I already have plans for the young people. Of course, I also do have plans for the old people. There are other things they can contribute to it in a greater way when they're not in those positions. Being in those positions cripples them from playing a bigger role in community.
Okay, Anderson, let's wind this up.